What's up, everybody? On a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video I want to talk about Marvel's Avengers beta. Now, this is going to be kind of a lot of speculation, but a more discussion-based topic, because here's the deal. We don't know much about this beta. All we know is if you do pre-order this game, from I believe most outlets, if you pre-order this, you get beta access to the game. I think even all of them. And PlayStation 4, you get access to it 1 week before everybody else. You get other things for pre-ordering in general, but you get the beta. We also don't really know what the beta is even going to have in it in the first place. But as we're getting really closer and closer to the release, as we're getting further into the year, and as this stuff is going around the world. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, I don't say the name of what's going on. I like to keep things clean here, just in case YouTube tries to pull a fast one, as they've done for a lot of different channels and a lot of different videos. But the question is, does the beta get delayed? When is the beta going to happen in the first place? Betas are tough. Betas are honestly really, really tough to predict. So we know this game is releasing September 4th. That's not really all that far away. The question is this a situation where you do a beta several months in advance or just a little while before? Actually, in a cool way, too, we just got done with a beta, right? We just got done with Predator Hunting Grounds free trial, which, yeah, free trial weekend, it was a beta. It was their beta to test the servers, to test, how people are liking it, try and fix stuff up. And they did it around a month before the game releases. Now, you can pull from any different games. There's lots of different games that have had betas, trials, alphas, demos, whatever you want to call them, before the release. They vary, but I do believe you probably do have a sweet spot of somewhere in between 1 to 2 months before the game releases. So where does that put us? That actually puts us in a really weird spot when it comes to gaming in general, especially if you stretch that out to like July. If you do something in July for Marvel's Avengers, that's very different for the most part. We talked about it before on this channel. July is often looked at as like the dead month for games. You really don't do a lot of things for games in July. Now, last year, Nintendo took the, they've heard that and they're like, well, you know what? We don't really care. We're going to do stuff anyway. They released Fire Emblem. They released a lot of different games, or they released Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Both games, by the way, sold extremely, extremely well, and both were really, really amazing games. So Nintendo just didn't care. But besides that, for the most part, July is a pretty empty month when it comes to games. So that would be very different. Even if you did something like late July, we're not really used to having games release, and I get it. It's a beta. Maybe it would only be, and the question too is, if PlayStation 4 gets it a week before the rest, do they do like closures? Do they do like, okay, well, for 1 week, PlayStation 4 goes, and then you get it for that week exclusive, but then the next week when it comes to Xbox and PC, well, now PlayStation 4, you're done. Because that's also a thing. Again, with Predator, we only had it for around 48 hours. So it was a little bit more than that. I think it was like 51, 52 hours, but it was just slightly over 2 days that we got the game, or that we got to play a little bit of it. And obviously it was, because of what Predator is, we got to play a good, a good amount of what we know is going to be in the game, right? We got to experience what the game is going to be about. At least for Marvel's Avengers, it's like, okay, well, if you give it to us for more than a few days, then there's got to be enough stuff to do. But what exactly is there? Is there going to be like a couple levels? Are we going to be able to play as different characters? They could be questions for another day and another video, but really, they've kept very, very quiet on it, which is a little, to me, is it alarming? Well, you don't really have to talk about your beta all that much. You could say, well, that's being a little bit harsh. The question that I do have, though, is the game was supposed to release May 15th. So that is not all that far away. That was only going to be another month and a half. So you got to think that if they were going to release it May 15th, that means the beta probably would have been right around now. So they have to have some sort of idea of what the beta is actually going to be. And still they haven't talked about it. We've talked about worrying, some signs that are a bit worrying for this game. We talked about a lot of positive things that I'm very excited for in this game. I've had, I definitely have two different thoughts when it comes to this game. And I want the beta for this game, guys, is going to be very, very important. We talked about it before. I talked about it for Predator, right? I talked about how the beta is kind of going to be make or break, that you can really, truly break the spirit of people in betas if they're expecting something and then you give them something else. Marvel's Avengers has to be very, very careful when it comes to this beta. People are excited, but people are also worried. People are expecting one thing, and if you give them something else, they are going to pull out. Now, I guess in order to play it, you need to have basically said we're going to buy it. Now, that doesn't say you can't cancel your pre-order after the beta ends. In fact, you can, and I assume that if the beta is not for some people, that they will. But there are a lot of questions. Again, if you get it for a week, the PlayStation 4 gets it a week before the others. Is it for a week? Is it for 3 days, and then Xbox has to wait another week, but then they get it for 3 days? It's very, very interesting. We haven't heard all that much about it, but again, yes, it's been delayed for a while now. It's not like they delayed it like yesterday or like 2 weeks ago. It's been delayed for a bit, but still, based off of when it was originally going to come out, the beta probably would have been around this time. You don't do your beta like a week before the game comes out. And for a game like Avengers, I know there will be some kind of interaction like with other people out there, right? It's not like a strictly single player thing. But I really just don't think this is like something you give to people to try it out like a week before. This really is, they're going to call it a beta, but I would honestly even think of it as a demo. I really do. I would think of it as a demo that you get to play a little bit of it. Maybe you get to play like that A-Day or whatever that the video, the first time we saw the extended gameplay, right, where Cap's playing and you play with Hulk and Thor and you play as Black Widow fighting Taskmaster, all these different things. Like maybe that'll be it. Maybe you just play as that. But again, that's like 20 minutes. That's not enough to keep you through. That's what the dilemma is when you have these things. See, a beta for Friday the 13th, for, and I know I'm kind of just sticking with Ilphonic, so you may think that's kind of weird, but, betas for these kind of games, for more multiplayer games, they're fine because you just play the multiplayer match over and over and over again. For Avengers, there is some elements of not just being single player, right? But is there enough to give people access to it for an extended period of time? Can you replay it like 50 times? Are you going to get really bored? You probably will be. So I'm going to be very interested to see where that balance is struck. Like, how many days are we going to be able to play it? Which characters are we going to be able to play? What exactly are we going to be able to do? And again, on top of all that, it is going to be very important of how good it is. Again, you could look at it as a beta. Maybe they're saying it's a beta because they don't want people to judge it too harshly if it is to be judged harshly. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I've always said I really hope this game is going to be good. I want this game to be good. I pre-ordered it. I'm getting it day one. I'm excited for it. I want this game to be good. So I'm going to give it every chance. And again, this beta is going to be that first really big chance for a lot of people. They have to nail it. And maybe, again, they're calling it a beta because they'll say, well, we can fix a lot of stuff. Maybe a demo doesn't exactly hold the same weight. It's going to be interesting. But as to when it's going to be, I really do think like end of July, early August would probably be around the time. I don't see them, I would be shocked if they give it to us more than 2 months away from it coming out. So if we got it in June or anytime earlier, right? Even late June, anytime before late June, if they gave it to us, I'd be insanely shocked. But at the same time, if they give it to us like a week before the game comes out, and see, that's another thing. Like, you actually can't because it's got a week of exclusivity for PlayStation. So at worst, you'd have to give it to us 2 weeks before the game comes out. So that's like that third week in August, and then Xbox and PC would get it the final week in August, like literally a couple days before the base game comes out. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. So, following that timeline, I feel like late July, early August makes the most sense for a game like that. And that'll be cool. But by the way, we talked a lot negative about it. And by the way, all eyes will truly be on this because what game do you know of that's coming out early August, late August, early September? There really is no games that are coming out, at least that are talked about. Normally Madden comes out there. There's sometimes games that come out. And, August is where the games start to bounce back. Cyberpunk, obviously, is just a week after Avengers in September. So there are definitely games, but it's going to be all eyes basically on Avengers. So I'm excited. I kind of routinely forget that it's getting a beta, but now that we just got a beta for Predator, I'm pumped. I want more betas for games, but it's going to be honestly really, really exciting. We don't know, we know next to nothing about it. So I'd like to know a little bit more information, and I'm sure we'll get that over the next coming months. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited for this beta? What are you expecting? Are you expecting to play levels? Which characters? How long do you think we'll have to play this? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon rung so you know when all these videos come out. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you want me to make more Avengers videos. I've made a couple on this game, and you guys seem to really, really like it, so I'll absolutely continue to make more if you guys want me to. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.